So here at Greenlight Islamic, we actually teach what we call knowledge-based agriculture as well as practical-based agriculture. So in this school, we normally encourage students to offer the subject of agriculture, not only to pass exams, but also to actually prepare them for the next world, which is the world of employment. Because in the Uganda of today, there are challenges of unemployment. Many people graduate every year from universities. Like of recent, Makerere released so many graduates of agriculture, but when they come to the field, there are no jobs. So here, I think the way to go should be, let us first analyze the subject of agriculture and what it can do or what it can offer to bridge the gap between the unemployed and then the gap of what we call the knowledge gap. So there are many fields that these students can pursue when they go for higher studies, and they are very many. They are diverse. Like a student who has done agriculture at high school, when he goes to the university, he can do Bachelor of Science Agriculture. That's a flat course that opens up many careers for these students, basing on the direction of research that they may have taken or they will choose or they may choose at the university. One of them is entomology, agricultural entomology. We have challenges of pests causing damages every now and then to farmers' crops, and many farmers have actually shifted out of agriculture because of this phenomenon of what we call pests. So that means there must be researchers who don't sleep every night and day looking for solutions, finding the best ways of controlling those pests. We may not rely so much on chemicals because chemicals have got their negative effects, like the residues they leave in the crops and in the products that may escalate the issue of cancer when these people consume, or when the consumers or people out there consume those crops that have been sprayed with pesticides. But we need to find long-lasting solutions that can offer what we call resilience to the agricultural system, and then those are the natural systems that agriculture depends on, because agriculture depends on, one, the light energy, and then these crops that we grow, they are our factories because they are able to convert the light energy into the chemical energy, the carbohydrates like the maize, potatoes, that people consume, cassava, name it all. So we need to have long-lasting solutions in terms of entomology to see that research is made to come up with what we call a solution that can solve very many mysteries surrounding the use of chemicals. And that is one, those are the entomologists. And then secondly, people who have done agriculture can become pathologists, plant pathologists and animal pathologists. So a pathologist is this researcher who makes research in what we call diseases. There are very many diseases in crops of late. It can be actually attributed to different changes in the climatic systems, but these may be fungal, they may be viral, they may be bacterial, and they may be due to other causes which may say unfavorable environmental conditions. So actually in Uganda, as a country, there are institutions that were actually set up by the government, but the major employer or the absorber of all this research we're talking about is called NARO. That is National Agricultural Research Organization. So if these people graduate and then they go to NARO, they join heads, and then they find long-lasting solutions to plant pathology, then farmers will not cry of diseases destroying their crops. Maybe a case in point, tomato farmers of late, they are complaining about what we call tomato blight. Tomato blight is actually becoming a challenge. But the fungicides which actually are on the market, I think they have actually not done enough to eliminate the fungi. So that means there must be people to join heads, and then they come up with what we call local, or what we call bio medicine or ethnomedicine in terms of controlling these diseases. And then secondly, these people who have done agriculture, they may become biochemists. And then a biochemist, these are people actually who dig deeper into the molecules of these plants, the DNA of these plants, so that we get to know what is devastating, what is limiting the crops from giving what we expect from them. Because there are very many crops we call hybrids on the market, but when farmers grow them, we find that they don't yield as per the expectation of the farmers. And this may be attributed to so many factors, some of which are environmental, the unfavorable changes in weather, and then the higher temperatures that make them not to yield very well. So they may become biochemists, and then on top of that, they may become soil scientists. And this soil science actually is diverse. They may become soil chemists, analyzing the different chemical elements of the soil, which in the end, which ultimately affect what we call plant growth and yield. And then they may also become soil microbiologists, because soil is a living entity. So we need people to make research in the microbiology or in the microorganisms that are found in the soil, that in the end they make the soil fertile. So we need people to make research in that way. And then they may also become what we call veterinary doctors. It is not only crop science that is making up our culture, but it also involves livestock. So there is a large gap, especially in the rural communities where production takes place. And like when you go to cattle corridors, oftentimes you see or you hear quarantines have been actually imposed in the cattle corridors of Uganda, and Zimbabwe is a case in point. So this makes farmers to make a lot of losses, especially when quarantine has been imposed, because all the milk they are going to milk, they'll be pouring it away. So that is income lost. A liter of milk poured away is a liter of actually income lost, because these farmers have injected money in labor, they have injected money in drugs, and they have injected money in actually very many things.
We chose to include agriculture in our combination because of very many reasons. One of the reasons, we had a passion and interest in this agriculture because, like in the communities we grew up from, some of us grew up from communities who have been practicing this agriculture. So we have seen agriculture as one, as a business. One, agriculture, actually it's a science of rearing animals and growing crops. And agriculture is a career opportunity. Why? Like now in Uganda, if you look at the economy of Uganda, 80% of the population of Uganda is employed by agriculture. And when you look at the domestic gross product, the GDP of Uganda, agriculture contributes about 26.01%. So taking this agriculture, we are not taking this agriculture as a subject, but we are taking this agriculture with certain objectives. One, when we look at the way agriculture is being practiced in rural areas, most of these farmers don't have skills in agriculture, and most of these farmers are not educated. So we chose to take on agriculture as the furtherance of going back and at least help those farmers in the village, equip them with knowledge as in how this agriculture should be practiced. And most of the farmers, mostly in the village, they are practicing this agriculture, but they are practicing it at the subsistence level of it. But we think after taking on this agriculture, studying and understanding the science in agriculture, we can go back to the villages and equip them and try to teach them how profitable is this agriculture, and still encourage them to practice this agriculture at a large scale. Well, the agriculture in rural areas of Uganda, sorry, the villages, it has been hindered with some reasons: climatic, capital, knowledge, extension services. But we think that after pursuing all the required levels of agriculture in school, we can go back and teach them how to form cooperatives. So in these cooperatives, they can merge together and start up savings, in that they can be able to at least adopt some modern and mechanized methods of carrying out this agriculture, so that it's practiced at a large scale.
You can start your own project as a student, maybe in your vacation or you're unemployed. It doesn't need huge sums of money. For example, I'll give an example on poultry. You can say something about poultry using 100,000. You get your something like 5 chicken. You construct a small poultry house, then you start rearing the poultry. Maybe if God blesses you, you can get something out of it without you writing many application papers to get the jobs. And some agriculture projects, again, poultry don't require a lot of schools. If you went for A level, if you had just some little schools, you can start something with agriculture. And there are some projects that are related to poultry that do not require you to get a lot of land, that maybe you need 10 acres of land to start something. Just with maybe some little space of land, you can start something concerning with poultry. Then also agriculture is subject. Agriculture is subject. For example, if you decide to take it practical, not leaving the knowledge in the books that you studied, you can get large sums of money, because we all know that Uganda as an economy depends mostly on agriculture. So there is no way you can decide to take agriculture practical and don't benefit out of it.
Okay.
Yeah, so just with something small,
I've tried out different agricultural projects. For example, most especially rabbit keeping. In my vacation and during the COVID period, my mother gave me some money to purchase something possible that can get me some capital during the COVID period. So she gave me something of 100,000, and I bought myself something of 20 rabbits. So I started my rabbit rearing at home. First of all, I used something of 60,000 to buy rabbits at the 2-week stage rabbits. After I got some money, I bought the materials to construct the rabbit house, a movable one and one that is not movable. This is because the movable one I used to use it to take the the pregnant rabbits to different areas to feed, and I even bought some seeds and planted some cabbages so that I can get some leaves and different foodstuffs to my rabbits so that they can be proper yielding.
Actually, I started on a small scale. My dad gave me a small garden and little sums of money, and he told me, you can start there, whatever you want. I had two, I started agriculture in senior one. So he told me, I had you study agriculture, then practice it. I started growing tomato. At first I faced challenges. My tomato got tomato blight. Then I told him, Dad, my tomato. He told me, don't worry. He brought the spray. We sprayed, we looked for the market. Right now, as I say, I make a lot of money.
Agriculture is on the back. Agriculture itself is the backbone of the country, whereby source of food also provides products which are used by industries within the country. And so another thing which I would like to comment about or to talk about is that I want also to encourage people in the central that agriculture cannot be practiced in areas with vast pieces of land, but agriculture can also be practiced on a small piece of land by carrying out what we call urban. There is what we call urban and peri-urban farming, where involves growing crops with. You can even grow crops within the veranda, the school, the home compound, and others. My project is progressing. Started on what you call growing cabbages within the veranda. So right now, as I talk, I'm accumulating a lot of money.
These goats, we have to make sure that where they are living, the places were drained, spraying to avoid the parasites. And even they need aggressive monitoring, because you may spray, and like these ones which have moved outside, still they come back with those parasites. So they need aggressive monitoring. When you come to the feeding part of it, these goats feed on actually the usual grass in our environment. That's why goat keeping is kinda cheaper than some other projects. I do mine in my village, Butabo district, in eastern Uganda. It's where I do mine from. Actually, we have these local ones. It's because of the environment and some other factors. Yeah.